Hello, welcome to this update. So let's take a look what's happening in the tropics in North America and also some heavy rain because this like the second half of the North America video that we did earlier today for the severe weather. So we did the severe weather earlier because it was more urgent, but we didn't have time for the rest. So let's continue now. So let's continue right where we stopped. So first, we didn't talk about the excessive rainfall. So there's this slight risk today spots of Minnesota to Wisconsin for some heavy rain, possible flash flooding, and also in Montana, spots of Iowa. So be aware in those areas. There's also for day two across the northeast, Great Lakes, spots in Montana. Day 3 in the southwest because of the remnant moisture from Hurricane Eric. There's day 4 already, two big slight risks in the plains and the southwest, so you better watch this next pattern. And day 5, some even bigger slight risks in the same areas. So day 1 through 7 shows like this big corridor of some heavy rain in the Midwest and especially western Mexico, more than 7 inches in a few spots. So please be careful in Alberta, into Saskatchewan, those areas close to 100 millimeters. So please be careful in those areas. So in the video we did earlier today, we talked about the severe weather and we explained in a lot of depth there. So if you want to know about the severe weather specifically, check the video from earlier today. But just to see if there are any changes here, they removed the marginal risk that there was in Iowa. They extended this one into Kansas and spots of Nebraska. But the north is the same, the enhanced risk for 30% hail and winds, and very big hail and strong winds and tornado threats still the same. So be careful in those areas today and check our severe weather video. But now for Canada, because we talked about the storms, but not much about the rain. So there's still in Alberta in those areas, those spots of some heavy rain and snow in the mountains. So especially the rain close to 94 millimeters in a few spots. So be careful in those areas and be careful some minor flooding in a few spots with those storms because there's this low pressure spinning there with those below average temperatures and those storms. So stay safe. And like we talked in the severe weather video, those storms might get very rough in spots of Ontario too. So stay safe and still shows this week into next week some more storms central Canada possible. So we'll keep watching. We talked about the heat wave in the severe weather video, so check there to see the temperatures in depth as well. But we didn't show this map. This shows like a giant area under heat advisories already and some extreme heat watches in the Midwest already. So be careful in those areas and like some big red flag warnings over the Great Basin, extreme heat warnings in Arizona, and so even winter storm warnings in Montana. So stay safe, be careful in those areas. Now, our big theme. So in the Eastern Pacific, there's this area already at 40% chance of possible development near Mexico. You'll probably go out to sea, but some models have it passing close to Mexico again. So we'll keep watching, but we'll probably go out to sea. Let's see, an area of low pressure is forecast to develop early next week off the coast of Central America. Environmental conditions appear conducive for some gradual development, and after the time, tropical depression could form as the system moves west-northwestward off the coast of Central America, southern Mexico. So we'll keep watching this area. The Atlantic's like a ghost. It's still quiet, but good for you. And let's see here. So shows like next 240 hours. The European does have like in the Eastern Pacific a lot of support near Mexico, but mainly further south of Mexico, further in the ocean. But in the Atlantic, it does have a few tropical waves near Trinidad and Tobago. So this won't develop, but will bring some heavier showers in a few spots there and some storms. So be careful in those areas and like there's big high pressure still dominant in the Atlantic, and there's the GFS too. It shows like it barely shows anything in the Atlantic, just a tiny speck in Guyana with some heavy rainfall. But the GFS is starting to want some Gulf action. But that's just like one, two, three, four, five members showing stuff there, and all the other ones in the southwestern Gulf are like weaker than a tropical depression. So we'll keep watching this, but the GFS normally it shows, but nothing happens. So be aware. And there's in the Eastern Pacific, just south of Mexico and Central America, some members too, but they mainly don't go into Mexico, but we'll keep watching. And there's now the GFS model does show like those areas a lot of moisture, especially in Nicaragua, those waves of thunderstorms. So stay safe, some flooding there. This goes, the GFS starts developing Sunday and it passes very close to Mexico on June 30th, but then goes away and it forms another one right after it. So it's not showing any threat to land, but let's see the European. It goes there and shows like it doesn't have anything strong, just like something very weak on June 30th and goes out to sea. So there's the Canadian too, shows this goal, especially those rains, those lower pressures in Costa Rica, Nicaragua. Be careful, some flooding there. So this goes and shows like the Canadian does have a hurricane on the 27th, and it passes very close to Mexico again. So it does have a strong storm, but still like that's far out. We have time to watch it. So here there's the icon. It shows like uh, a storm trying to form around the 28th and just south of Mexico. So it does have something too, but it's not showing landfall. It's just far out to sea. So we'll keep watching those areas, but just stay tuned to the updates if you are there in in Mexico or near the Eastern Pacific. So now for this rainfall, there's like this trail of tropical waves in the southeastern Caribbean, sorry, and near Venezuela, Trinidad and Tobago, and those areas there, you can already see some showers and storms. So shows in Nicaragua, that's very heavy rain, some spots there, and into Mexico, the remnants of Hurricane Eric that's now dissipated. So there's this goes and I think the slide was on next Tuesday. So I was talking about next Tuesday. So sorry. Let's go back to Friday. So now it's Friday, the 20th. You can see here in Mexico a lot of heavy rain in eastern Mexico and some more in the Pacific. And also we already have some heavy rain in Guatemala, in those portions, and already some tropical waves, Trinidad and Tobago in Venezuela. So it's a pretty similar thing to what I said before. So here, this does go Friday into Saturday in eastern Mexico, some heavy downpours. Stay safe, some flooding there too. Sunday, this goes and then shows Monday, spot in Nicaragua, to Costa Rica. Monday and Tuesday, the heaviest of the rain, and then possibly more tropical waves later. So be careful, those areas, the rainfall, and we'll keep watching. So here shows now across Mexico some 147 millimeters next 5 days, some 273 and more spots there in eastern Mexico. So stay safe with the same hazards like landslides, some flash flooding, those areas. So please stay safe. Southern Mexico, a few spots there, the Pacific, and especially western Mexico, those portions further west. So stay safe further into northern Mexico. And this moisture is starting to creep into the US as well, as you can see there in New Mexico. So be aware, spots west of Mexico, especially with flooding, the higher terrain there. So stay safe in those areas. And as you can see further south in Nicaragua, Costa Rica, more than 200 millimeters next 5 days. More spots there, central Nicaragua into Costa Rica, some 220 in Panama. So stay safe, the flooding, those areas possibly some rivers and streams and like flash flooding too. So stay safe. Some passing showers and storms in Cuba, Jamaica, Cayman Islands, and some more in the Bahamas too. A few others in Florida and Hispaniola. But you can see right in Trinidad and Tobago, where I show spots close to some 88 millimeters in a few areas, especially in Venezuela, close to 100, and right in Grenada, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, more than 40 millimeters, Barbados around 12, and some more islands. Some more showers, a few thunderstorms. So be careful in those areas. The GFS is even heavier in Nicaragua. So the GFS, a giant low pressure there with a lot of rain. Like it has all the way to 488 millimeters. The GFS, I think it's exaggerating a little bit because the European, it just has waves of showers and storms, and the GFS has an actual small low pressure itself that would burst a lot of heavy rain. So we'll keep watching this, but in either way, if it's 100 or 400, there'll be the same flooding concern. So be careful in those areas. But of course, if it's 400, it will be much more dangerous. So be careful. Shows the icon Nicaragua, mainly close to the coast. Some 69 millimeters, 100, 156, especially near the coast. Big Corn Island to 217, and close to 200 on the coast. So stay safe. And still, southern Belize, those areas to like more than 155, 148. So stay safe. The European in Belize is a little bit less, but does show a few storms as well. And a few spots in Guatemala, the Yucatan. So yes, stay safe in those areas. The GFS doesn't have as much in eastern Mexico, but does have more than 100 millimeters in a few spots in this corridor along central western Mexico. So stay safe in those areas and let's see. But meanwhile, there's still the heat wave northwestern Mexico near like the Pacific and near the southwestern US. So still to 40 degrees, a few spots to 41. So still be careful in those areas. Some 40 to like 42 degrees in a few spots, especially in 43 close to California. So still be careful in those areas northeastern Mexico, further south less because of all the storms, but this goes and still hot until like Sunday and still northeastern Mexico Monday. But with this rain coming, it might help a bit, but still hot in those areas. In the Yucatan, quite hot as well. Friday, this goes in central Cuba, a few spots close to 35 degrees, some 33, some localized areas possibly to 36, it even shows here. So be aware those areas too. And yeah, stay safe. There's here like shows the dust in those areas. Not really that much, but does show some widespread thin dust, even the US and more spots in Central America, some dust, and then shows like in the Eastern Caribbean, slightly more in some areas there. So shows like in the Gulf today, Friday, and into Saturday, still some dust. It does get better by Sunday in the Eastern Caribbean, but like still Monday shows more dust. So be careful the air quality and the visibility and watch some good sunsets. So be aware in those areas. And here for the future in the Atlantic, still looking quite unfavorable in the first weeks of July, but we'll keep watching. This might be the quietest June since 2019 or 2014. So, but still watching. Meanwhile, be careful those heavy rains and everything. And if we see any signs pop up, we'll tell you. But like, let's just see if the GFS has something. For example, it shows those showers and storms next Tuesday, Thursday. Does have the 28th in the Eastern Pacific there, but doesn't really show anything in the Gulf, nor like until July. So still quiet in those areas, but we'll keep watching just in case. And yeah, so just checking some wind here shows like some wind gusts central southern Caribbean near the coast of Colombia and Venezuela, some higher gusts and some higher seas through the waves, especially like might pick up Monday the Eastern Caribbean. And the GFS not really too much, but the European quite. The Icon as well to 49 km per gust in Barbados. So be aware some small craft warnings and advisories. So Monday still shows Tuesdays, some more wind in a few spots, and even later. So be aware those winds through those areas and stay safe. And I don't know if you know it's the new format here because before I used to do videos with the iPad and then the microphone, there were too many technical issues. But now I'm doing the laptop and every week I will choose a new profile image of images that I take of storms and everything. So today I put this one. This a cloud iridescence that I saw a few years ago, and this is very rare. So every week I'll put a new image of things I've seen and photographed. Hope you like it. So yeah, stay safe, be careful.